Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Keisha, and in today's video I wanted to come on and talk about what it's like to work for a bank, life as a banker, how I got there, and things of that nature. I already made 2 videos like this. If you guys want to check that out, they are linked down below. I've noticed that I still get views on those videos as well as questions from time to time, and people will like thumbs up and say, you know, like, what are the interview questions? You're just leaving comments on there. So I decided in this video, I guess, to do a little update. Number one, I've worked at 3 banks so far. I've been in the banking industry for almost 5 years now. And I can definitely say all banks have a lot of similarities and a few differences. So like I said, I wrote down a few questions that I was seeing on there, and then I'll just jump from there. So first question is banking a good career to advance in job roles? This is where I will say all banks are different. The current job I'm at, I wouldn't say there is a big growth because it's a small credit union. Most banks are really big, but credit unions tend to be very small and stay with their district. So some credit unions are bigger than others, but they will never be as big as TD Bank, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Chase It, like banks like that. So matters what bank you're looking for, and that's a good question to ask at the interview. Like, what are your, because they ask you that as well at some interviews. I remember the first bank I worked at was Wells Fargo. I started off as I believe I interviewed as a part-time teller. I was hired as a full-time teller, always got additional hours when I needed, and I was promoted to, as you can say, senior teller. There they call it lead teller, where you watch all the rest of the tellers. So that's where I actually had my first promotion in the company. Wells Fargo, in my eyes, I can definitely say, because I have, like I said, I only worked at 3 banks. Wells Fargo is definitely the bank where you can be in the front line, in the back of the line, call centers, interviewers. You can, like, there's a lot of jobs you can do for, you can be a trainer. It's a lot of different fields you can do for Wells Fargo, and that's probably why I like them so much. It's a whole bunch of different roles. So of course it matters where your background is, it matters where you came from. So if you start off as a teller, don't think you have to be a teller for 2, 3, 5 years. It's easy to jump. So in my knowledge, yes, banking is a great career to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Next question, are the hours good with little ones? Yes, you can always start at part-time. There are banks that don't work weekends. My job, you're required to work like every sixth Saturday unless you want to work more. Some banks, however, you have to work every Saturday or at least 3 Saturdays out of the month. So it's hit or miss. That's something you definitely need to look for. I know I worked in a supermarket type of bank, and we were open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So that wouldn't be ideal for having a child that's in like daycare or something. My son was in daycare, but my daycare was open until 12 a.m. So I used to leave him in there until I would get there about 7:30. So it was pretty decent for me. But that's something I wanted to like shy away from. So there are banks, credit unions are really good. They're typically 9 to 5. My hours right now, well, it's switched because of COVID, but my hours are 8:30 to 4:30, and I think that's perfect if you have younger kids. So I love that. Next question, benefits good for bankers, like free accounts and all that stuff? Yes. Every single job I worked at, bank-wise, I had a free account, free checks, free money orders. I would say that's it. You get like the best checking account, the ones that bring in like hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the checking account you get while you are while you're an employee. They will like cut it down once you're not an employee. What else can I say? You get your fees waived. Like, you don't have to swipe your debit card a certain amount of time, or you're not getting hit with a $10 fee or $3.95 fee or whatever the fee may be. You're not getting hit with a fee. I believe you also get free statements. Like I said, there are perks to being with the company. Also, with banks, I would say their healthcare insurance is pretty good. I feel like healthcare insurance is expensive anyway. With my son, when I had him, the maternity leave was actually 4 months, 100% paid, which is awesome because most women get like 6 weeks or maybe 3 months. The 4 months is the most I ever heard. And actually, my doctors were like, 4 months. Oh my goodness. So yes, we did get 4 months at that particular job. My next job is where I had my weight loss surgery, and the insurance was really good. It was very responsive. When I was supposed to get accepted with weight loss surgery, it was really fast. So like I said, to my knowledge, the insurance is really good. 401ks and all that stuff, they match. So yes, and you can find all this information out even before you get hired. Like, of course, do your research. So that's one thing. I personally will say there are great benefits to being a banker, teller, just being in the banking field in general. And last questions are, what are tips for savings? Now, I am a very big saver. I love to save. I'm not a spender that much. So I personally will say, let's say you have a checking account, and this is your main checking account, the one that you pay all your bills with, write your checks, you do food shopping. That's your checking account. Now, with that checking account, I feel like you should also have a checking account. Now, that's A. I feel like you should also have another bank account where that's B. Now, this checking account can have no more than $100 to $200. Matters how you spend, matters like your income, how many kids you have. But for me, I only need about 100 to 200, and that's emergency money. I deposit in that checking account 1 to 2 times a month. I don't want to feel obligated to have to go to this account, but it's nice to know that, oh my God, I only have $5 left. Oh, but I have $100 over here. You know what I mean? You don't need a debit card for that account. You don't need the app for that account. Just know when you need money, you go to that bank. That is key. Another thing, have another bank, Bank C, and that is where you do your savings. You do not need to have the app for that. You do not need an ATM card for that. That is where you save your money. And for me personally, when you get your direct deposit, instead of saying, oh, let me take $20 out for this account and $20 out for this account, let it directly come out. You don't even have to see it. So if you get paid $100 a week, put $5 in that savings, put $5 in that emergency account. And that will be separate, and then you have your play money, and that's all you think about. You don't think about those other accounts, and that's what I do. And certain things come up, whether it's bonuses out the year, don't touch that bonus. That wasn't even your money. Whether it's a holiday club, don't touch that money. That's only for the holidays. Whether it's overtime, don't touch that money. That's overtime. You put those in your savings. It's very, very hard. Even if your overtime, your holiday is $100, give yourself 20. Okay, give yourself 30. But just know you have those savings when you're tight, a rainy day. I don't know, your son needs a new pair of sneakers. That's very important. And a lot of people, whether you make like $1,000 bi-weekly, $2,000 bi-weekly, if you're only looking at that money, that's the only money that you have. You need to bracket off other things, whether it's a savings account, a credit card that you're not using. I know a lot of people like to do the vice versa and have their direct deposit and pay all their credit card off, but leave money in their checking account. I mean, it's whatever works for you. Another thing about a savings account is nobody can touch it. It's very hard to get fraud on a savings account. Someone can easily go into your checking account from when you paid the electric, when you paid gas, when you wrote a check somewhere, when you mailed a check somewhere. So your checking account is a little bit more risky than your savings, and that's why I always say try to maximize and put as much money in your savings as possible. And this idea doesn't work for everyone. Like I said, I like to have multiple bank accounts just because I don't want to see it all the time. I like to divvy up my money. I know other people do envelopes. I cannot have cash on me at all times. I cannot have cash on me, and I cannot have my debit card on me. That's just me. But anyway, so yeah, just a few questions. I don't want to make this video too long. If you guys have any additional questions or want to see my other videos that I believe I made almost 2 years ago, the links will be down below, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye, guys.